Hi, I'm Corey, and welcome back to Diary of a Blonde Mom. Today, I want to take some time to go over benefits of homeschooling, legal requirements, and ways to be social. So, to begin with, I want to start with benefits of homeschooling. The first benefit I want to talk about is freedom. We have had so much freedom being able to meet all of our kids' needs. And one way that we were recently able to do that is that we were able to get my oldest daughter into an intensive therapy program that was out of our area. And while we were in the program, it was 3 weeks long, 5 days a week. We were gone for multiple hours a day, and I was still able to teach my daughter who was in therapy, and we will continue to teach her at her own pace because she was spending so much time in therapy then. And then we were also able to teach my second grader while my oldest was doing therapy. On top of that, I was also able to homeschool my 4-year-old and while we were gone. So the second point here is that you can teach at your own pace, at your child's own pace, and that is what is so important here. If your child is struggling with writing, if your child is struggling with math, then or reading, whatever it might be, you can take it at your own pace. You can find alternative ways to help teach your child. You can play games. That's actually one of our favorite things to do. If we need to spend a little while longer on some of whatever topic it might be, we might play games. And that tends to really reach my kids. So we switch back and forth between our curriculum, which we use the Good and the Beautiful. We've used it since my oldest was in 2nd grade. She's now in 5th grade. And we don't have to worry about our kids being left behind or there being, large things, big things that they're missing in the classroom. Because having myself as their teacher, I'm able to make sure that the curriculum that we're using, that they're not missing any of the building blocks working up to the next step. We have just so benefited from homeschooling also due to the fact we get more quality time as a family, more than just 30 minutes at the dinner table sitting down face to face. I kind of have been thinking a lot lately about a conversation I had with one of my friends, and she mentioned to me that it's not often that kids who are in school get to spend with their parents. You wake up in the morning, you shuttle them off to school. I also have done this for several years with my oldest and my middle child. And then you get home, you might get a snack, get some homework done, it's off to activities. Hurry up, you come home, you cook dinner, or go pick something up, and it's time to eat, shower, bed. And I know I hit a point too that I was really sad that when I realized my children were spending more time with their teacher at school than they were with me. So that moves into the other benefit of homeschooling. You never know for sure what someone else's beliefs, backgrounds are, and we may or may not agree on topics, whatever they might be. Kids are really impressionable. And you do want to ensure that whoever they're spending so much time with is providing adequate information that aligns with your family. And being able to have the quality family time really helps to instill your family values. So that's just been really dear to our hearts, and we just really have appreciated that with homeschooling. Moving on from some of the benefits, HSLDA is a great resource for your state. Every state is going to vary slightly in terms of what the legal requirements are in terms of homeschooling. If you are curious about your state, I strongly suggest you go on to hslda.org, and I believe you go under legal and you find your state. Like I mentioned, we're in the state of California, and I believe there are 3 options for educating at home. One of the options, I'm most familiar with filing the PSA, or the private school affidavit. I have to file the PSA each and every year. And by signing that, I am ensuring that I am teaching my children all the subjects that are typically taught in school: history, language, math, art, music, and I keep records of attendance, immunization records. I keep, what else was there? I know for California, under the PSA, you also have to teach instruction in English, among, I think, just a couple other, the instructor has to be capable of teaching, I think it's worded similarly to that. So depending on your state, your regulations and requirements are going to be different. Once you check that out though, you can look into different options for you. Another option that's not the private school affidavit, or filing the private school affidavit, would be to sign up with a local charter school. At least that's what we kind of call them around our area. And so what a charter school might look like, they have different setups. So it might look different in your area. One way it might look is you might send your child to a charter school, say 2 times a week. And then the other 3 days a week, you would have your child home and you would be able to teach them the curriculum. Typically, I believe the curriculum that you would get from a charter school, if you were going with a charter school, they have a list for you to pick out. Oftentimes, or there's also charter schools sometimes offer the option to homeschool at home. So you are educating your children in your home, and you have to check in on occasion every semester or quarter, depending on what their requirements are, with a qualified teacher from their school. And the reason being is they want to make sure that your child is making progress in their schoolwork. So you submit work samples, and they just want to make sure your child is making continuous progress. Another perk to attending a charter would be that most of the time, for the places I've seen around here, they offer things like government money through the school so that you can help pay for specific extracurricular activities, but they have to be approved by certain vendors depending on where your school and where your site is. You oftentimes are also able to get curriculum paid for this way. However, just be cautious, because I know depending on what curriculum you want to use, you need to check with them before you purchase anything and hope that you can get reimbursed for it. Because if you want to go around it that way, about paying for curriculum that way through the charter schools, they will likely not purchase anything that has any faith-based curriculum in it. So just be mindful of that. The last thing I'm going to talk about on this video today is ways to be social. I know when we first started out this journey, that was definitely something that we weren't sure about. And now, being a few years in, I don't want to say we have anything perfect over here, but I do want to say our kids have a lot of opportunities to communicate with, hang out with kids their own age, and also just people in general. when you think of socialization, I think we as a whole kind of get caught up in the idea of kids needing to be around kids their exact same age. And if you grew up in public school, I did, from the time you're in kindergarten through 12th grade, we are sat in classrooms with kids, other people who are our ages, and that's who we're expected to socialize with. In all reality, though, and I've had some time to reflect on this, in all reality, when I go through my day-to-day, whether I'm making phone calls, I stop by the post office, I go to the grocery store, or I'm on the phone with someone for some equipment for my daughter, I speak to people of all backgrounds, all ages, and bottom line, I believe that socialization really comes down to is being able to communicate with others. And we do offer our kids lots of opportunities for that, whether it be at co-ops or extracurricular activities. We do soccer, gymnastics, Girl Scouts, the list goes on. So you guys can always have your kids join some extracurricular activities, friends in your neighborhoods. If you have co-ops that you're aware of, join them. If it doesn't seem like the right fit or you can't find a co-op, post a flyer for a park meetup, either at a local charter school so you could ask to see if that would be okay with them, or at your local library. I'm sure that there are lots of other families who you would click with really, really well, and their kids, you never know how well everyone can come together until you give it a try. So that was just what I wanted to go ahead and discuss for the day. If you are thinking about homeschooling, let me know if you have any questions, and definitely check out HSLDA. There are so many benefits, and I'm just forever grateful every day that we can be here as a family. And homeschooling seems to be working so well for us right now for that. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you next time.